And let's continue where we stopped. We've gone through the process of importing CSV files, converting CSV file to shapefile, a straight shapefile, creating polygons from point data. We've done that. Convert a shapefile to KML. We've done that. Yeah, we are yet to open the KML file that we produced in Google Earth Pro. We'll get there. Then import shape files like we've imported the administrative map of Nigeria as well as the administrative map of the world. Compare the spatial extent of the administrative maps from different data sets to see whether they are exactly the same or which ones are probably accurate or not. We're yet to do that, and of course, the relevant vector operations. So for now, we would also try to open a line data and see what it looks like relative to the polygon and the point data. So next port of call is that we will open the line data and then we'll compare the different spatial polygon data we have to see the algorithm to see which ones seem to be out of place. So after that, we'll now talk about some relevant vector operations that you might require in the course of generating the relevant maps for this particular course. I haven't done that. Let's go back to the map, the last place where we stopped, which is here. Of course, like I said, once you save, you can easily, even if you close it and you want to start this particular tutorial at a different time, you just go back to your desktop, open, you get to a point where you have several maps within there. The one that is relevant to you, the current one that you're working on, double click on it and it will load. If not, you go to project, open. Once you click open, you can find your way back to where you saved the documents. In this case, this is it here, study guide tutorial, and then you click open and to open it and still get back to exactly what it was when you last saved it. Now, having done this, let's now see whether we can load a line data, the river line data we downloaded from Ed Explorer, USGS Ed Explorer online directory. Click on this. The line data is a vector data, so you make sure vector is selected and not raster or any other one. You select vector, click on this, and then go up, find where you located, where you saved the document, so the shapefile. In this case, it was saved. I saved under raster, Edge Explorer River Vector, open. And now, we had it, these were zipped files. I had to unzip it here. So we have four different sets to cover the four different extents that capture the entire, the Anambra state in its entirety. So open the first one, double click. The shape file is what you want to open, which is this. You say open. This one, it wouldn't be there, and say add. You go back again, open or browse, go up, go for the second one, shapefile, open, add. You note that it's showing up here, this and this. So you go back for the third one, go up, the third. When you're online, crazy things happen. Open, add. You go back again up for the fourth one, open, select shapefile, open, add. You can afford to close now, close. Now you can't see it on the map because the accent is Anambra State, and you can see that Anambra State is just a small area within this section. So in order to see what you have, let's zoom into, click on one of those. And mind you, like I said, line vector should be should not be captured under the polygon, especially when the polygon is filled in. Hold, drag up until you get to the region below the point data. Nope, you won't want to come here. Hold, up, hold, up, and hold, up. So these are 4 of them. Let's see what they look like basically. Now, right click on any of them and zoom to layer. When you zoom to layer, it takes you to that layer. Basically, this is the river line that was captured, or the waterway that was captured for the first one. If you zoom to the second, you see the second, but let's not zoom to that. Let's just use the zoom out key, click, and then you can see this is Anambra State. Within this is Anambra State basically. Now you can see that this is the river Niger. This is the waterway that was captured here. That's the river Niger. And of course, this is a different water body. Well, it doesn't necessarily give me what I need. So basically, we will not be working with this. Somewhere along the line, when we analyze the raster data, the elevation data, we'll be able to generate some waterways. And then that's what we employ here. This one, the river, should basically be a line most often than not, but here is a polygon because, of course, it was represented that way. So, well, I might decide let's just remove all of this for now. We'll get back to the lines when we'll generate some of our own. So if you want to remove all 4 at the same time, you don't need to just remove one. You can remove all 4 at the same time. Let's say you've selected the first. If you hold down the shift key on your keyboard and click again, it will select, you selected the first, hold down the shift key. If you want to select all 4, click on the last. It will select all 4 of them, and then you can remove. Now, if you want to keep some, then you wouldn't have to hold down the shift key. Let's say you hold down the control key this time around. If you click the last one, you won't select everything. You just select one. Let's say I want to select another one. Select this. There's still one, not there. So with the control key, you can determine what you want to select. But if you hold the shift key, you select everything between the 2 that you just clicked. So I want to remove all of this. Right click and then remove layer. Says remove 4 legend entries. Yes, say okay, and all 4 are gone. So basically, we'll move to the next item there. We are yet to do this. We are yet to kind of open the KML in Google Earth Pro. Now import shapefile done. Now let's look at the spatial extents of this map. Now you have 3 Nigerian maps here and 1 Africa map. And I want to compare these different sources to find out which one gives me what I need. Now, your problem you have right now is that once you click within, instead of being able to drag the window around, once you click, it zooms out. You go back here and you click this, it zooms in. But you want to now be able to hold this and move it around. But we are yet to get there. Now let's see, let's zoom into Anambra State, for instance. Now, or let's leave this at the moment. Now, to be able to hold that key and move it around, well, let's see whether we can zoom up further. Hold outside here, drag. No, that's not what you want to do. Nah. So let's say I want to box in to zoom into the extent of Nigeria to a large extent. Okay. Now, okay. Now this is Nigeria here. you want to hold and drag around without having to zoom out or zoom in, you have to come back here and select this pan map, this hand. Once you click on that and it's activated, you have deactivated the others. So you can now click, hold, and drag without having to zoom in or zoom out. Once you want to zoom, come back, click, and then you zoom. Now, let's say you want to see how these things vary. The one on top is this. Click on this. You can see that it's not exactly the same, it differs. So, which is the correct one? Now let's compare with the third Nigeria map. Now GADM Nigeria. Zoom to layer. Okay, so these two are somewhat different. You can see the variation in the shapes. Okay, let's compare this with the next one below it. You can see that they are virtually the same. Virtually is more like exactly the same. No variation in spatial extent. Just changes in color. Let's switch toggle between this. You can see there's a change in orientation of the shape files as you switch. For this, between these two, there's no change. Now let's say between this and the third, you can still see that change in orientation. The country lines will be seems to be near accurate, but the states and local governments are not really well aligned. Now let's compare this with the Africa. Well, not much within Africa to compare, but at least you can see that the country lines virtually to a large extent align with minor adjustments. You can see if you zoom in to this corner, it's not fully aligned. Minor adjustments. Nope. So apparently the GADM and the World Bank are aligned. Let's check something. Let's find out which ones are really aligned. Vector. Okay, what's the Diva GIS? What's the name of the Diva GIS? Nigeria NGA admin. NGA admin, this is Diva GIS alongside, so this is basically Diva GIS NGA admin 2. This one. You can change the name if you want. Let's say, let's add Diva there. So right click, click rename. Let's come to the beginning. You add nope. I want to add Diva rename, click rename layer Diva underscore. So once you click on another one, so the name sticks now. So once you save this, whenever you open this, the name will still be Diva GIS. This, of course, is GADM. So the GADM and Diva GIS seem to be aligned, but the World Bank is different. But I trust the World Bank data. I think I trust the World Bank data more than I trust the Diva GIS data, unless maybe there are updates like I mentioned. So since Diva GIS and GADM seem to be aligned, then maybe it's been corrected. Well, majority may well carry the vote for today, but let's still look at something. Let's compare some things and see whether it's maybe it's just 2 against 2. I can still, for the GADM, edit name, rename layer. Nope, cancel this. Right click, rename layer. Let's change the GADM to capital and have underscore there too. GADM underscore to make it clear. So Diva and GADM seem to be aligned. Now when you switch this off, Diva and GADM are perfectly aligned. Maybe one group got the data from the other. So they are virtually perfectly aligned. Whereas, as you can see, check this corner, for instance, this area. Watch when I switch on. You can see a great deal of difference. There's something jutting out here and it's not jutting out in the other area. So those two are really different. Chances are one is more up to date than the other. Maybe one is an older map. Maybe the World Bank maps may well be older. Let's see what happens. Let's check how many states we have within. Right click. Open attribute table. Here you can see these are the data that basically make up the map. So you can see admin 2 here is local governments. Admin 1, you can scroll leftward. Admin 1, name, these are state names. And then admin 0 would be Nigeria all through. Let's see. Admin 0 name would be Nigeria all through because it's just Nigeria, because the map is the map of Nigeria. So let's go to the states. Let's, under admin 1, which is this, to arrange within that zone so that you have it in alphabetical order. You can now see Abia, FCT, Akwa Ibom. Once you want to arrange it so that all the local governments will be, this is arranged in terms of local governments because local government, you have Aba North, number 1, Aba South, Abaji, Abak. So it's alphabetically for local government, but I want to arrange it so that I want to get all the local governments in Abia State arranged sequentially. All the local governments in Imo State arranged sequentially, just like that. Anambra State arranged sequentially. So it means here, where you have this, I need to sort all of this to reflect the states. So once I click on the top now on this title, it will arrange it alphabetically. From A, you have a lot of Abia until you get to the last local government in Abia State. So once you click that, you now see Abia until you get to this point. So when you check, all the local governments here will be in Abia. Aba North, Abia. Aba South is in Abia. Arochukwu, Bende, Ikuano, Isiala Ngwa, Isikwato, Obingwa, Ohafia, Usisioma, Umo, Ugunabo, Ukwa East, Ukwa West, Umonochi, Umahia North, Umahia South. These are all in Abia State. The next one here you have Demsa. Demsa is not in Abia State, it's in Adamawa State. So all the other local governments will be arranged local governments in Adamawa State. When you get to the last, you get to Akwa Ibom. From this point, all the local governments will be in Akwa Ibom. So basically, like I said, I will tend to trust the World Bank data more than I trust these other ones because World Bank is still World Bank, so they will have basically more accurate data. So I'll rather stick with World Bank, but based on what we've seen so far, the GADM and the DIVA GIS align, whereas the World Bank seems to be the odd one out. Under normal circumstances, if I had 5 and I have 3 aligned or 4 aligned and one that is off, that one that's off I'll reject as inadequate, whereas the ones that are aligned means that those ones, the more you have the alignments, then it means the more likely is the correct delineation. But there's still another way to find out whether it's for real. You can go about it in such a way that, let's say, for instance, I zoom out to Anambra State, this region. If I know the boundary, let's say the boundary, the towns with, let's say I have the coordinates of a town on the boundary line, which is in Abia State, in Enugu State, and then the town on the boundary line of Anambra State, you can see that those lines, if it's incorrect, the coordinate is still correct. But if the lines are incorrect, I might have that point that I know is in Anambra State would end up in Enugu State, or the point in Enugu State that I know is in Enugu State will end up in Anambra State. So that tells me which one is actually correct. You may not have to go to that point to capture that. You can get it online. Just search for, if you go online and search for, let's say, you know of a town, Ugoba, for instance. Ugoba is on the boundary between Anambra and Enugu State. So if you search for coordinates, or geographic coordinate of Ugoba, Ugu Oba. You search for that. This is the geographic coordinate of Ugoba based on what I see online. So this is basically the latitude, the longitude. If you plug this into your Excel, save as a CSV file, and bring it into the GIS the same way that you did, we'll find out that Ugoba, for the correct one, you might discover that Ugoba is not where it should be. You can also look for a town on the boundary of Anambra State, and then see probably either the town that's supposed to be in Anambra State will end up in Enugu State, or the town in Enugu State that will end up in Anambra State. Then that tells you for the map where that happens that is not an accurate map, whereas the map that captures it where it should be is the accurate map. So you can still on your own do that experiment and find out exactly which of those maps you've downloaded is the correct one. And of course, once you find the correct one, it means subsequently, whenever I want to generate a map on your own, whether it's a project you want to run for somebody else, generate a map for somebody else, you simply go download that specific one because you've ascertained that that map is actually good enough for the purpose of whatever you're trying to do. But that's that. So this is basically a way of trying to ascertain which of these maps would is aligned with the other. So that's basically what I meant when I say compare the spatial extent of the administrative map and see which ones are aligned and which ones are different. Well, there are more technical ways to go about this, but we'll ignore that for now. You're still basically starting, so just stick with this and you'll have a rough idea of what you're talking about. Now, before I shut down this particular video, I want to open that KML file in Google Earth Pro. And then subsequently, we'll now talk about some relevant vector operations. Now, let's go back to the folder where we're working from, which is here. Go up until you find the folder where you save the data. Go to outputs. Now, this is the if it's area, the KML that you saved. Now, for this to work, you have to have Google Earth Pro installed in your system. So because I have it installed in my system, when I double click on this, or right click and select open, once I am online, the internet is connected, it will open that Google Earth Pro software from my system. I don't need to open it. It will automatically open it and then load that map within it, and I'll see how it looks in terms of land cover types, where buildings are, and things like that. So it's still opening. Now it is opened. It's going to move towards the region where I have a map of. Now it has zoomed into the area where I worked on, where I generated those maps. That's if it's the area. Close this, press close. Now you can see this is that area. This is my line, the line I have. You can see that's the shape, the red, this. It captures the region where I worked. You would have noticed that I walked along, like I said, there was a point where I said there's a straight line when I was walking along the road. This is that road. This road, I can readjust this to capture this road because, of course, I just took the coordinates for this edge. I didn't take any along the road. I took at the end. So that's why when you link the two of them, it doesn't capture along the road. That's why I said once you have a curve, collect several points along that curve. Once you're walking along the road, when you get to a curve, there's a curve here you collect. You keep walking, there's a curve, you collect here, you collect here, you collect. So the more you collect along that road, there's a curve here you collect. The more you collect, the more it mimics that stretch that you're trying to capture. But if you collect one here and one here, it links it with a straight line, and you can see that this one diverged out of the road, and you can see the line on top of buildings. You didn't walk on top of the buildings, of course, so you walked along the road. So you collect, once you collect several along that road, it will capture the line along the road, and that's where your line becomes more accurate. Now, if you look again, hold drag, if I had collected several along this other road, then it will still mimic the twists, twists and turns along that road until I get to my destination. Now, if you get to this point, you can zoom in or zoom out again. I can use my scroll key on my mouse to scroll up to zoom in and zoom out, but for you, if you don't have that, use this plus here and this minus. So as you click on plus, it zooms in, you click on minus, it zooms out. So let's zoom in. Nope, you can hold drag, you click zoom. Now you can see that this is where I stay, where I took the first set of data points, but where actually the journey started was here. So I took the first here. After taking the first, I walked along this path. So I walked along this path. So this is the way I went. Started from here, walked down this way. There was a path I followed here, walked down here, and then here, here, and then I came to the road. From the road, I walked down the road, came here, then walked into this road. I walked down this road, came to here. There's a village square. When I came here, I came back to where I started, where I took the last one. So, but this one was where I took some initial readings when I was trying to get my bearing. So this data is not necessary in terms of I need to kind of eliminate this region here. So I need to link this to cut off this region and then link this. It's possible to do that. Let's see how possible that is. Where is that? I have a whole lot of things that I'm working with here. I want to locate. Well, you want to locate that. Let's click on. Click on that. This is doesn't click, but once it turns into the arrow, it will click on the line. So this is if it's an area. Now let's say I want to edit this to eliminate this section. Let's see how possible that is. Right click on it, select properties, right click, you get a context menu, go down, select properties. Once you select properties, apparently not that editable. Wow, KML. If it were point data, I would do the editing more accurately, but in this case, not that easy to edit, but I can edit it in QGIS, bring it back here, and of course, save as KML again. Right click, add, delete, I don't want to delete, rename, revert, save as. Let's go back to QGIS before I shut down. Let's see how you edit from there. Of course, it's part of what we need to do subsequently. This is where I have those. Now, my interest was trying to get rid of this section so that this remains. So if it's area, you select right click and then say toggle editing, click. Now click on this to activate. What if I get here? Oh, well, I am trying to edit some points. So instead of once you click this and click within, you will try to create another map, but you are trying to edit this particular map now. So you don't click this, you click this. Once you've said vertex tool for all layers. So once you click this and you click this, it will select it. Just press delete on your keyboard. It has deleted it. You click on this, press delete. Like I said, I want to link these 2 points, eliminate this corner. Click here, delete. And now you see, for that particular map, I have a different shape altogether. So having done that, if I want to save that, say save here, click save, and then click on the toggle edit. So now you're done. You can click on the hand tool to be able to hold and drag, zoom in and zoom out. So I've eliminated this area in this if it's an area map. So having eliminated that, I can save it now as a KML file. And when I load it, it will capture that region without this twist. So that once I click it and open it, you go online and then you get an area, but this selection will not be there. Question that actually is, do you have Google Earth Pro? You have to download that and install it. So now by now you should know how to install software package in your system. But to download that, you can go online and search for Google Earth Pro download, press enter, and now Earth version Google Earth Pro. This is actually the Google Earth web page. This is just a third party. So let's try downloading from the main the web page of Google. So click on that. And it brings you directly to Google Earth web page. So rather than go through the step of going to a third party, go for the main website. So you can download Google Earth Pro for mobile here, your mobile phones, for desktop, for the web. You want the desktop, so you click on this. It takes you down to a point where you can now download that. So you click, this is download Google Earth Pro on desktop. Click on that. Now it tells you, okay, you have to accept some conditions before it allows you to do the download. Accept and download. You click, and then it has started downloading. Well, apparently it has downloaded something. You have to go there. Of course, it didn't download it. What it downloaded, you should make sure you're still online. So let's open this in folder location. This is what it downloaded. So once you click on this, double click on this, it will open an application and then take you through the process of now trying to download the actual Google Earth Pro. So you should be online whenever you try to install this. You try to install this, but as you go through the process, it will go online and actually now download and install your Google Earth Pro in your system. So subsequently, whenever you open a KML file, it will automatically go to that Google Earth Pro, open it, and then load it so that you can now see what that area looks like in terms of whether it's a forest, whether it's a grassland, whether it's a farm, whether it's a built-up area, whether it's your house. You even be able to see your house. If you took the geographic coordinate of your house, you'll see where your house is located and what your house looks like from the outside on the internet. So that's basically what this gives you. So at least you now know how to kind of download your Google Earth Pro and of course install it, and then subsequently load your KML files so that you can view it uh, online. So I think we'll stop here, and then in the next stage, we'll now talk about some basic vector operations that you need to know about when you're trying to generate a map products and analyze spatial data.